If I had to say one thing about Meghan Markle is that she is insufferable. That is the best way to generalize her when you look at all the faults that's been going on over at Netflix, all of the issues and the drama that's been going on between herself, Ted Sarandos, Greg Peters, the executives, the board of directors, the many producers over there that's trying to fix the situation for With Love Meghan Season 2. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about Meghan Markle is that we know that she is trying to cling on to any opportunity available within the film industry, within Hollywood, to remain, as far as she sees it, as relevant, and so far it is working to no avail. Now, there is a deal in the works right now. We talked about this, how she's trying to land on a major game show for NBC. We'll talk more about that down the road once there's further developments on that. However, focusing on Meghan Markle and how she's beginning to truly go out of control at this point when it comes down to her overall role at Netflix, and how she's beginning to truly offend a lot of members of course, those that are subscribed to Netflix, customers that are actually a part of the Netflix platform, and this, I think, is only going to lead to more people leaving in droves. So let's get into this. Now, one thing about Netflix is that we know that they most likely made, or are very well aware that they made, a very big mistake when they handed her that $100 million contract deal, which is a lot of money, by the way. However, focusing on Meghan Markle in isolation, this is where it really begins to hit rock bottom. I mean, heck, we're going below rock bottom at this point. It is hitting bedrock. But let's get into this. Now, with the Meghan Markle drama getting out of control over at Netflix, especially after her pregnancy video, one major development going on now involves yet another enraged response coming from Meghan, and how it is one of the most offensive things yet. Now, Meghan delivered the following. In my belief, if you are a woman, you are missing out completely if you are not engaging in activism and feminism to truly provide something very beneficial to society, especially what's been going on right now in the US. This needs to become a standard, and we are seeing a whole new generation that is falling or failing for false narratives out there that puts them in the wrong direction. As far as I'm concerned, if you're a woman and you refuse to engage in activism, I don't think that they really have the education that they need in this society to flourish. Look, I'm an independent woman. I'm a damn grown woman for sure, and with my series on Netflix, I had to use this as a great educational tool for women on how to properly maintain a household. And I think it's going to truly reshape how women see themselves and how they should evolve themselves, within not just to reach enlightenment, but to also improve themselves from other things that they have been exposed to, like toxic masculinity as a huge example there. And I'm going to get more in depth with this on my podcast, but women really need to learn to think for themselves more. We are seeing a whole new generation that just doesn't know how to do that. So I felt it was my job to teach them how to reach that status in With Love Meghan Season 2, while cooking great dishes, of course. There comes a point in time when you have to push activism, you have to push feminism, and the importance of all other things like LGBTQ and DEI, because we are now dealing with some very high status people that are aiming to abolish that. And again, I don't want to name names right now, but we are seeing a crumbling phase in Hollywood right now because of them getting rid of the most important movements in our lifetime. Now guys, let me just stop right there. She's obviously referring to President Donald Trump, and again, whether you like or dislike the guy, you can actually give him this. He is the main contributor to abolishing DEI and getting it out of Hollywood. And you know what? That is a major plus. That is a major one-up as far as I see things. And she seemingly has a very big problem with that. Now, what's interesting here is the fact that she keeps going on about how if women are not engaging in activism or feminism, then hence you are uneducated, right? And how she believes that she can be this role model to educate them through her program With Love Meghan. And you know what? That is really putting a lot of women down, and it just goes to show you that she really has no care in the world at this point. I think that she's beginning to go off the rails, because she's beginning to gain this sense of reality that nobody wants to work with her, either anymore or at all, from the get-go. And that really is beginning to actually settle in at this point, right? I think that's beginning to register within Meghan's mind, and she just does not know how to comprehend with that. Now again, one thing about With Love Meghan Season 2, there is going to be a lot of educational nonsense shoehorned into this series, and it's only going to make it a bigger ratings disaster than Season 1. And again, I hate to call it Season 2, but that's what they're calling it. it's really just part 2 of season 1. Let's be very real about that. Moving on. She continues, DEI is a major contributor and is a contribution to great success to society, and damn anyone who is against that. Quite frankly, we are also dealing with a new generation of women that just don't know how to parent their own children anymore, and I think social media is to blame for that for sure. But that's what I'm here for. I think I can be that beacon of light to heal all the mothers out there that aren't really educated on the importance of things in life, and I am aiming on how I can fix a whole generation that just seems lost. So guys, it seems like that she has the right answers out of nowhere, pulling it out of thin air, that she can fix these non-existent issues within society, right? I think what she's trying to do here is that she's just trying to make things out of nothing to really prop herself up as someone that can actually be important, right? And that's really a very narcissistic thing of her to do, and are we really all that surprised? Not really, right? Because she is a true narcissist. Heck, this is a person that refers to herself in the third person all the time, and I'm surprised that she hasn't done it yet. However, what's interesting about this yet again is that she goes on to continue, and, you know, I brought this up on social issues and gender politics before in my life, and it's something that I think needs to be touched on more to really grasp how out of control it is right now. We can be the best that we can be if we have the right role model, and I can be that role model for women that are so misguided that they refuse to educate themselves. I guess you could call me this sort of fixer-upper for a society, but we will see. Guys, I don't know if that's more cringe than anything before, but a fixer-upper for society, that sounds utterly ridiculous coming from even Meghan Markle. But what's interesting here is the fact that, look, we know that a lot of executives, a lot of producers, they are just fed up with Meghan Markle. They want to get season 2 done and over with. They want to put it in the rearview mirror and call it a day already. And they are still aiming to drop this thing in the fall of this year. Now, they're aiming around September or late August, which is not really the fall technically at all, but they're aiming for that window, right? Late August into September of this year. That's their overall window as far as releasing it, to get it done and over with and focus on all things new within Netflix. And again, I mean, Meghan Markle is going off the rails, and we all know why, and I pointed this out just minutes ago. She doesn't know how to deal with the situation in Hollywood. She doesn't know how to deal with the fact that, yeah, people are tired of all the nonsense. People are tired of being lectured, and people are tired of, you know, Hollywood elites and all of these self-entitled personalities that believe that they are important, or more important than any other person in society, right? Or in the public. So again, this is only contributing to a bigger problem over at Netflix. I think it's going to also lead to more members of Netflix leaving in droves and saying, you know what, we're done. We're going to go over to things like HBO Max or, you know, Peacock or anything else. Heck, even Disney Plus at this point is putting themselves in a better position than Netflix. But overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.